Hi there, this is James, product leader over at Rimo3, and in this video I'm just going to walk you through the Rimo3 Workspace 360 deployment process. So to get started, you first of all need to log in to Workspace 360. So to do that, we can start at rimo3.com and click on the login button. Right, so this is going to take us to the Workspace 360 logon screen. And if you are new to Rimo3, then we would have sent you these credentials prior to getting here. So typically it's your email address, and either we'll provide you with an invite link for you to set your own password, or we'll provide you with a temporary password. And upon first login to your account, you'll be prompted to change that password. However, I am a regular user at Rimo3, so I will not need to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in. So you'll notice here that I've got like a selection of tenants available. That's because being a product leader at Rimo3, I need access. I need super admin access, so therefore I can see all the tenants. But for you, typically you'll likely not see this drop down, and you'll be taken straight through to your for your tenant that we provisioned for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to head into my new Rimo3 Workspace 360 deployment that's ready to be deployed. Just go through the multi-factor. And again, because I'm a super admin, I have multi-factor enabled by default, but for you as a normal user, it's an optional feature. Okay, so this is what we come to when we first access Rimo3 Workspace 360. And here we are prompted to start the deployment into our Azure subscription. And you can see here we've got some status boxes which give some instructions as to what's going on and can let us know if there's any errors and so forth. So really straightforward. To get started, we just hit the deploy button. And what this is going to do, this is going to take us through to the Azure portal and send us to what is our private offering. So our private deployment offering that we would have pre-assigned to your Azure subscription. So key thing here is to make sure that we are at least have some owner rights or the ability to create resources in the subscription, and I'll drop a link in the description to our prerequisites document. So hit create. Okay, so from here we have some options. We can use an existing resource group, or we can create a new one. So I have a resource group that I've pre-prepared from earlier, and it is an empty resource group. However, there's nothing wrong with you creating a new one here in the Azure portal. One thing to note, as per our prerequisites document, we want ideally the resource group to be empty. Doesn't necessarily need to be empty, but you don't really want any VMs in there, because we do have a script that runs and removes any VMs. It's almost like a cleanup script to ensure we are optimizing or making sure we're not burning any cost that's not needed. So just be aware of that. Okay, I'm in the lovely UK South. And just a note, you need to be owner rights. So minimum, you need to be the owner, have owner rights to this resource group that you are using or creating at the time. And if you don't have those, it will throw an error here. Okay, so next I can leave, in this case I'm just going to create a new VNet, a new subnet. You can use existing if you like, that's fine. For a storage account, you need to create a unique name. So I'm going to call this Azure Deploy James 1. Okay, leave everything else as default, hit next. Gateway settings, so this is going to be the local admin account on the gateway virtual machine that we create. So you can use this to do any troubleshooting, so you can jump onto the gateway. If you want to do domain join as well, you're going to need these credentials. If I can just get my password right. Okay. And here this is important. So here we select we add in our Rimo3 tenant name. So for me, this is AZ deploy. So this is something that you would have selected when you got in touch with us and we create the tenant for you, or you will have it in your email, but it's important that you set this to be your Rimo3 tenant name. Okay, they will match. Next. And again, this is important. So this is your Rimo3 tenant name, and these are the credentials you use to sign into your Rimo3 Workspace 360 tenant. This enables the deployment to speak to your Rimo3 tenant. So I'll hit next, and then we're just going to do a quick validation to make sure everything looks good. Okay, no errors. Just double check everything. So we've got our VNet, got a subnet IP address range, storage account, region, resource group, gateway settings, so local admin, name of the resources, so AZ deploy, gateway, VM, disk, and network card, and then the registration for our Rimo3 tenant. So AZ deploy and then my credentials to access it. So if everything looks good and checks out, we hit create, and this will start the deployment of the resources. Okay, now we just sit back and watch things start happening. So we have our VNet deployed. And storage account link done. Now we're doing the virtual machine deployment, and we can see here we've got things pushing through. This says invalid for now, but we just wait for that to complete. We're just going to wait for the gateway VM to deploy, and then it will show us live. What I'll do, just pause so you don't sit here waiting. Okay, gateway VM is done. Now it's just going to start to run our scripts on the VM and get things deployed, get the services up and running. So at this point, it's still deploying our persistent task runner agent, so it's going through the process of doing that. So once that's complete, the task runner service will be up and running. We'll be able to speak back to the Rimo3 tenant. So let's wait for this script to complete. Okay, deployment complete. So if we go to our resource group, we will see we have the basic Rimo3 resources deployed. So we have our storage account, we have our gateway virtual machine, and we have our VNet. And our gateway virtual machine should be running, which it is. So let's go back here and see how we're doing. So gateway status is still pending. Give it a second. Refresh. Oh, my session expired, that's why. Bear with me. Okay, let's see where we're at. Okay, sorry, just waited for it to refresh, and everything is now live. Okay, now we can set up our tenant, so hit next. And here, if we've got any custom images in our Azure Compute Gallery, we can add them here. If we want to do domain join, we can start that process. And also, if we've got line of sight to config manager, we can do that now. But this is a very straightforward vanilla deployment, so we don't have any custom images, or we don't want to do domain join. So next question here, this is where we select our current OS. So this is where we will onboard and baseline applications against. And our target OS is 23H2. AVD OS, let's select the latest, and for the Modernize OS, let's select the latest as well. Hit next. Okay, so that's just some final notes around onboarding applications and what the environment is that we've selected. Hit submit. This configures our Rimo3 environment, and that is it. If I go to advanced and status, just wait for the gateway to come online, and we should be ready to go. And we can do a quick test of an application once we are up and running. Okay, gateway's come online now, so now we can quickly do a test. So let's onboard an application, something nice and simple. Browse. So I've got 7-zip. Submit. Okay, refresh. Sequences. So it's just importing 7-zip. Finish the anti-malware scan, so fresh from viruses. Hit the sequences, and we can see the discoveries started. And so we can see we've got the object created for 7-zip, and this is going to now progress through the pipeline. So that is it. Rimo3 deployment complete. Thank you for watching.